2 days after the battle, the human fleet still orbited New Denver. Admiral Jake Harrison had decided to stay and make sure no more enemy ships came to the system. His crews used the time to study the alien wreckage and help the colonists rebuild. Jake stood in his ready room, looking through reports from across the galaxy. The news of the battle was spreading fast. Every alien race was talking about what had happened at New Denver. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Commander Lisa Parker as she entered the room, "you need to see this." She handed him a datapad. On the screen were intercepts of alien communications from all over the galaxy. Jake read them carefully. The first message was from a Zephyrian military base. Impossible to confirm, but reports say entire 7th Fleet destroyed by 8 human ships. Request immediate investigation. The second was from the Krillian Empire. Human technology far beyond our estimates. Recommend avoiding all human systems until further study. The third made Jake smile. Urgent warning to all hegemony fleets. Do not engage human vessels under any circumstances. They possess weapons that can destroy reality itself. Weapons that can destroy reality? Jake chuckled. I like that. Lisa smiled too. The gravitational pulse weapons are causing quite a stir. No one understands how they work. Good. Let them wonder. Dr. Kate Collins entered the ready room. She had been studying the battle data and alien communications for 2 days. "Admiral, I have some interesting news," she said. 3 different alien fleets were heading toward human systems. All 3 have turned around and gone home. "Fear is a powerful motivator," Jake said. "It's more than fear, sir. The aliens are starting to realize that humans might be the most advanced race in the galaxy. They thought we were primitives because we're new to space travel. Now they know better." Jake walked to the window and looked out at New Denver. The planet looked peaceful from space. Down on the surface, the colonists were coming out of their shelters and returning to their normal lives. His communicator beeped. "Admiral Harrison to the bridge, please." Jake walked onto the bridge with Lisa and Dr. Collins following behind him. Captain Tom White appeared on the main screen from his ship, the UHS Nemesis. "Admiral, we're getting a priority message from Earth Command. Put it through." The screen changed to show Admiral Susan Clark, the head of Earth's military forces. She was an older woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. "Jake," she said, "I've been reading your battle report. 8 ships against 62, and you took no casualties?" "That's correct, Admiral Clark. The quantum shields and gravitational pulse weapons worked perfectly." Admiral Clark shook her head in amazement. "The President wants to see you as soon as you return to Earth. The whole galaxy is talking about this battle." "What's the reaction on Earth?" Jake asked. "Mixed. Some people are happy that we finally showed our strength. Others are worried that we've started a war we can't finish." Jake thought about that. "Admiral, with respect, the war started when the Zephyrians began killing our colonists. We just finished it. I hope you're right, Jake. Come home as soon as you can." The transmission ended. Jake turned to his crew. "Mr. Rodriguez, any word from our reconnaissance ships?" Sam Rodriguez checked his instruments. "Captain Murphy reports that all Zephyrian fleets within 50 light-years are retreating toward their home systems. None are heading toward human space." "Excellent." Jake walked to his captain's chair and sat down. "It looks like our message was received." Down on New Denver, Colony Administrator Mike Foster stood outside his office building. The sun was shining, and people were walking through the streets again. Children played in the parks. Life was returning to normal. Maria Santos, the schoolteacher, walked up to him. "Mike, when do you think the Admiral will leave?" "Soon, I think. His job here is done." "I wish there was some way to thank him properly. He saved all our lives." Mike nodded. "I've been thinking about that." I'm going to recommend that we name the main street after him. Harrison Avenue has a nice sound to it. High above them, on the bridge of the Valiant, Jake was preparing to leave. His fleet had done its job. New Denver was safe. The Zephyrian threat was gone. All ships prepare for departure, he announced. Set course for Earth. But before they could leave, another message came in. This one was not from Earth or from any human colony. It was from deep in alien space. Sir, said Sam Rodriguez, I'm getting a transmission from, I'm not sure where. It's coming from outside known space. Put it through. The main screen showed a being that Jake had never seen before. It was tall and thin, with silver skin and large blue eyes. When it spoke, its voice was musical and strange. Admiral Harrison of the human fleet, the being said. I am Ambassador Vale of the Galactic Council. We have been watching your recent battle with great interest. Jake stood up. The Galactic Council was a group of the oldest and most powerful alien races. Humans had never been contacted by them before. Ambassador Vale, Jake said carefully, what can I do for you? The Council wishes to extend an invitation to humanity. We would like to meet with your leaders to discuss your place in the galaxy. This was huge news. The Galactic Council only dealt with advanced races. They had ignored humanity for decades. I will pass your message along to Earth Command, Jake said. Excellent. But first, Admiral, the Council has a question for you. What question? The alien ambassador leaned forward. How long have humans possessed these advanced weapons? Jake smiled. This was the question he had been expecting. Long enough, Ambassador, long enough. I see. And do you have more advanced weapons than the ones you used at New Denver? Jake's smile grew wider. That information is classified. The truth was that the gravitational pulse weapons were just the beginning. Human scientists had developed even more powerful technology. But the galaxy didn't need to know that yet. Very well, Ambassador Vale said. The Council looks forward to meeting with humanity. We believe you will find your place among the great powers of the galaxy. The transmission ended. Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him with amazement. The Galactic Council wanted to meet with humans. They were being invited to join the most exclusive group in the galaxy. Well, said Dr. Collins, I guess we're not the new kids anymore. No, Jake agreed, we're not. He pressed the button on his chair one final time. All ships, this is Admiral Harrison. Today we proved that humanity is not prey. We are predators. We are protectors. We are the guardians of human space. He paused and looked out at the stars. The galaxy thought we were weak because we are young. They thought our technology was simple because we are new to space. They were wrong about everything. The 8 ships of the human fleet turned toward Earth and engaged their hyperspace drives. They had work to do. There were more colonies to protect. There were more enemies to face. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Humanity was not going anywhere. They were here to stay, and anyone who threatened human lives would face immediate destruction. The age of human dominance had begun. Back on New Denver, Mike Foster watched the sky as 8 points of light disappeared into hyperspace. The human fleet was gone, but the colonists would never forget what they had done. Maria Santos stood beside him. Do you think we'll see them again? Mike smiled. I hope so. But more than that, I hope we never need to. Above them, the stars shone peacefully in the night sky. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were changing course to avoid human space. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was learning a new truth. Humanity was no longer the victim. They were the victors. The space around New Denver had become a graveyard of twisted metal and fading light. Where once 62 Zephyrian ships had floated in perfect formation, now only scattered debris remained. The human fleet moved through the wreckage like sharks. Among minnows, Admiral Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the Valiant, watching the last few enemy ships try to escape. His gravitational pulse weapons had torn through the alien fleet like paper. In just 20 minutes, 58 Zephyrian vessels had been completely destroyed. "Status report," Jake called out. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Parker checked her screens. 4 enemy ships remaining, sir. 3 escort vessels and 1 damaged cruiser. They're trying to reach the edge of the system. Any damage to our fleet? None, sir. All 8 ships report perfect condition. The quantum shields worked exactly as designed. Jake nodded. The alien weapons had been completely useless against human technology. Every plasma beam, every missile, every energy blast had simply bounced off or been absorbed. The Zephyrians might as well have been throwing rocks. "Captain Murphy," Jake said into his communicator. Captain Alex Murphy's voice came back from the UHS Razor. "Yes, sir? Those ships trying to escape. Can you catch them?" "Already on it, Admiral. The Razor is faster than anything they have. They won't make it to hyperspace." On the main screen, Jake could see Murphy's destroyer chasing the fleeing aliens. The human ship moved like lightning, closing the distance quickly. Captain Tom White commanded the UHS Nemesis, the largest ship in Jake's fleet after the Valiant. His voice came over the communication system. "Admiral, I'm picking up some strange signals from the debris field." "What kind of signals?" Jake asked. "It looks like automated distress beacons, sir. The aliens must have launched them before they died. They're sending messages back to Zephyrian space." Dr. Kate Collins looked up from her station. "That could be good for us, Admiral. When other alien fleets hear about what happened here, they'll think twice before attacking humans." Jake walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, his crew worked quietly. They had just won the most one-sided battle in galactic history, but they showed no celebration. This had been serious business. "Dr. Johnson," Jake called out. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Amy Johnson appeared on a side screen. She was in the medical bay, ready to treat wounded crew members. But there were no wounded. There were no casualties at all. "Yes, Admiral? Any injuries to report from the fleet?" Dr. Johnson shook her head. "Nothing, sir. Not even a bruise." "The Zephyrian weapons never got through our shields." Jake smiled grimly. In a battle against 62 enemy ships, the human fleet had taken 0 casualties. 0 damage. It was unheard of in the history of space warfare. "Sir?" Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez looked up from his communication station. "I'm getting a transmission from one of the surviving enemy ships." "Put it through." The main screen changed to show the bridge of a damaged Zephyrian cruiser. An alien officer appeared, his gray skin covered in cuts and burns. His ship was falling apart around him. "Human Admiral," the alien said. His voice shook with fear. "Please, we surrender. Don't destroy us." Jake stared at the alien for a long moment. "You surrendered after we destroyed 90% of your fleet. Why should I accept your surrender now?" We didn't know," the alien stammered. "We thought humans were weak. We were wrong. Please have mercy." "Mercy?" Jake's voice became cold. "Did you show mercy to the colonists on Kepler 7? Did you show mercy to the families on New Mars? Did you show mercy to the children you murdered?" The alien's black eyes filled with tears. "We were following orders." You thought humans were easy to kill," Jake interrupted. "You thought we would run away. You were wrong about everything." Jake looked around his bridge. His crew watched him, waiting for his decision. These aliens had killed thousands of innocent humans. They had destroyed entire colonies. They deserved no mercy, but Jake was not like them. "I'll give you the same chance you gave our people," Jake said finally. "None. He made a gesture to Lisa Parker. She nodded and fired the Valiant's main weapon. The purple beam reached across space and touched the alien cruiser. The ship collapsed in on itself and disappeared in a flash of light. 3 enemy ships remaining, Lisa reported. On his destroyer, Captain Murphy was closing in on the last group of fleeing aliens. The 3 escort ships were desperately trying to reach the edge of the system where they could jump to hyperspace. UHS Razor to Admiral Harrison. Murphy's voice came over the communicator. Go ahead, Captain. The remaining ships are trying to send a message to their home fleet. Should I stop them? Jake thought for a moment. No, let them send their message. Let the Zephyrian Empire know what happened here. Let them know what happens when they attack humanity. Understood, sir. Murphy's ship fired its gravitational pulse weapon 3 times in quick succession. 3 purple beams reached out and touched the fleeing aliens. One by one, they collapsed into nothing. All enemy ships destroyed, Murphy reported. The system is clear. On the planet below, the colonists felt the ground shake as the battle finally ended. Mike Foster looked up at the sky through his shelter window. The flashing lights had stopped. Space was dark and quiet again. Is it over? Asked Maria. Santos. Mike pressed his face against the window, trying to see something, anything that would tell him what had happened. Then his radio crackled to life. New Denver Colony. This is Admiral Harrison of the Terran Defense Fleet. The alien threat has been eliminated. All Zephyrian ships have been destroyed. You are safe. The shelter erupted in cheers. People hugged each other and cried with relief. Children who had been hiding in the dark for 3 days finally smiled again. Mike grabbed his radio. Admiral Harrison, this is Colony Administrator Foster. Thank you. Thank you for saving us. Jake's voice came back through the static. Just doing our job, Mr. Foster. The human fleet protects human colonies. Always. Back on the Valiant's bridge, Jake looked out at the empty space where the enemy fleet had been. Pieces of alien ships drifted slowly past his window. It was all that remained of the mighty Zephyrian war fleet. Sir, said Bobby Torres, all ships report ready for the trip. Good, Jake said. But first, I want to make sure our message gets out. He turned to Sam Rodriguez. Lieutenant, record a message. Send it on all frequencies. Make sure every alien fleet in this part of the galaxy can hear it. Ready to record, sir. Jake stood straight and looked into the camera. When he spoke, his voice was clear and strong. This is Admiral Jake Harrison of the Terran Defense Fleet. Today, the Zephyrian Empire sent 62 ships to destroy a human colony. All 62 ships have been destroyed. The human fleet took no casualties and no damage. He paused and let that sink in. Let this be a warning to all alien races. Humanity is not weak. We are not easy prey. If you attack our people, if you threaten our colonies, you will face immediate destruction. The age of human weakness is over. We are here to stay. The recording ended. Send it out. Jake ordered Dot as the message spread across space at the speed of light. Jake knew that everything had changed. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. Commander Zalthi stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds. Around him, his crew worked at their stations. The massive ship moved through space toward the tiny human fleet. Distance to target? Zalthis asked. 1,000,000 kilometers, reported his weapons officer. All guns are ready to fire. Zalthis looked at the main screen. The 8 human ships looked so small compared to his mighty fleet. He almost felt sorry for them. Almost. Fire a warning shot, he ordered. Let's see if these humans have any sense. The biggest gun on the Destroyer of Worlds charged up. Red energy built up in the weapon until it glowed like a small sun. Then it fired. A massive beam of plasma energy shot across space. It passed just above the human flagship. The beam was so powerful, it would have destroyed a small moon. On the bridge of the Valiant, Admiral Jake Harrison watched the plasma beam fly past his ship. The energy was so bright, it lit up the entire bridge for a moment. "That was just a warning shot," said Dr. Kate Collins. "They're trying to scare us." "Are you scared?" Jake asked his crew. "No, sir," came the answer from everyone. On the bridge, Jake smiled. "Good. Lieutenant Rodriguez, open a channel to the enemy flagship." Sam Rodriguez worked at his station. "Channel open, sir." Jake looked at the main screen. Commander Zalthis appeared again, his forearms crossed over his chest. "Human Admiral," the alien said, "that was your final warning. Leave now, or we will destroy you." "Commander," Jake said calmly, "you just fired on a ship of the Terran Defense Fleet. That was a mistake." Zalthis laughed again. "A mistake? You have 8 tiny ships. We have 62 ships of war. What can you possibly do to us?" Jake's smile became wider. "You're about to find out. All human ships. This is Admiral Harrison. You are cleared to engage. Show them what we can do." The transmission ended. Zalthis stared at the screen for a moment. Then he turned to his weapons officer. "All ships, open fire. Destroy the human fleet." Across the Zephyrian battle line, guns began to charge. 12 dreadnoughts and 50 escort ships all aimed at the 8 human vessels. Energy built up in hundreds of weapon ports. "Incoming fire," shouted Lisa Parker on the Valiant's bridge. Multiple plasma beams, high-energy torpedoes, and particle cannons. All ships are being targeted. The space between the two fleets lit up like the 4th of July. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles flew toward the human ships. Each weapon carried enough power to destroy a city. "Brace for impact." Jake called out. The weapons hit the human ships all at once. Explosions filled space around the 8 vessels. The energy release was so massive it could be seen from the planet below. On his flagship, Commander Zalthis watched the attack through his main screen. Smoke and fire covered the area where the human ships had been. "Target destroyed," reported his weapons officer. "Excellent," Zalthis said. "The humans learned what happens when you challenge the Zephyrian Empire." But then the smoke began to clear. And impossible as it seemed, all 8 human ships were still there. They had not moved. They showed no damage at all. "What?" "Zalthis," whispered Dot on the bridge of the Valiant. Jake looked around at his crew. Everyone was fine. The ship had not even shaken when the alien weapons hit them. "Damage report," Jake called out. Bobby Torres checked his instruments. "No damage to any ship." "Sir, the quantum shields absorbed everything." "Perfect," Jake said. He pressed the button on his chair. "All ships, return fire. Use the gravitational pulse weapons." Full power. 8 human ships turned their guns toward the enemy fleet. But these were not normal guns. They were weapons that used gravity itself as a weapon. The UHS Valiant fired. First, a strange purple beam shot out from its main gun. The beam hit the closest Zephyrian dreadnought. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the impossible occurred. The massive alien ship began to crumple in on itself. Its hull bent and twisted as gravity became thousands of times stronger around it. The ship's armor, designed to stop any weapon, meant nothing against the force of gravity. In seconds, the dreadnought collapsed into a tiny point of light. Then it exploded in a brilliant flash as it became a miniature star before dying. "Impossible," breathed Commander Zalthis. The other human ships fired their weapons. 7 more purple beams reached out across space. 7 more Zephyrian ships. began to collapse under their own weight. Captain Jenny Hayes, commanding the UHS Thunder, watched her target through her ship's main screen. The alien cruiser twisted and bent like a piece of paper being crushed. Its crew didn't even have time to scream. Direct hit, she reported. Target destroyed. Captain Ryan Bell, on the UHS Striker, watched his gravitational pulse weapon tear apart an enemy escort ship. The vessel folded in half, then collapsed into nothing. "This is incredible," he said to his crew. "Their ships can't fight gravity itself." Across the Zephyrian fleet, panic began to spread. In less than a minute, 8 of their ships had been completely destroyed. Not just destroyed, erased from existence. "What kind of weapons are those?" screamed the weapons officer on Zalthis' flagship. "I don't know," Zalthis replied. His voice was no longer confident. For the first time in his life, he was afraid. "Sir?" called out his navigation officer. "The other ships are asking for orders. What should we do?" Zalthis looked at the main screen. The 8 human ships hung in space, unchanged. Their weapons were already charging for another shot. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," he ordered. "Get us out of range of those weapons." The remaining Zephyrian ships began to move. The huge dreadnoughts turned slowly, trying to get away from the human fleet. The smaller ships scattered in all directions, but the human ships were faster. They had better engines and better technology. As the aliens tried to run, the humans followed them easily. "They're trying to escape," reported Lisa Parker. "Let them try," Jake said. "All ships, pursue and destroy. Don't let any of them get away." The 8 human ships spread out and began to hunt down the fleeing aliens. It was no longer a battle. It was a massacre. Captain Alex Murphy, on the UHS Razor, chased down a group of enemy escort ships. His gravitational pulse weapon fired again and again. Each shot destroyed another alien vessel. "This is too easy," he told his crew. "They can't hurt us, and they can't run from us." On the planet below, Mike Foster watched the battle through his shelter window. He could see flashes of light in space as ships exploded, but he couldn't tell who was winning. "What's happening up there?" asked Maria Santos. Mike squinted at the sky. I think we're winning." In space, Commander Zalthis tried desperately to contact his home fleet. "This is Fleet Commander Zalthis," he said into his communicator. "The humans have weapons we've never seen before. They're destroying us. Send help immediately." But before he could finish his message, a purple beam reached out from the UHS Valiant. Zalthis had just enough time to realize what was happening. Then, his ship collapsed into nothing, and he was gone. The battle was almost over. The 8 human ships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the new Denver system. Space around them was dark and cold. But ahead of them, near the planet, was a different story. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Commander Lisa Parker, "the Zephyrian fleet filled the space around New Denver like a cloud of metal death. 12 massive dreadnoughts hung in space like floating cities. Each one was dark gray with sharp edges. Red lights blinked along their sides. Around them, 50 smaller ships moved in perfect formations. Admiral Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the Valiant. He watched the enemy fleet through the main screen. The aliens had arranged their ships to completely surround the planet. Nothing could get in or out without their permission. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," Jake said, "can you pick up their communications?" Sam Rodriguez worked at his station. Static filled the bridge speakers. Then alien voices came through, speaking in their own language. The ship's computer translated their words into English. "Look at this," one alien voice said. "More insects have come to die." Another voice laughed. "How many ships do they have?" 8. "This will be over in minutes. The humans are so stupid." said a third voice. They think 8 tiny ships can fight our mighty fleet. Jake's crew listened to the alien voices. The Zephyrians sounded like they were having fun. They thought this was going to be a game. "Sir?" said Captain Jenny Hayes. Her voice came from the UHS Thunder, one of the cruisers in Jake's fleet. "I'm reading massive energy signatures from the enemy ships. They're powering up their weapons." Jake nodded. "All ships maintain formation. Do not power weapons yet." On the main screen, Jake could see the lead Zephyrian dreadnought. It was huge, easily 3 times bigger than the Valiant. Lights were turning on all along its hull as weapon systems came online. "Incoming transmission." "From the enemy flagship," Sam reported. "Put it through." The main screen changed. Now it showed the bridge of the alien ship. A tall, thin creature appeared on the screen. Its skin was gray, and it had 4 arms. Its eyes were black and cold. This was Fleet Commander Zalthis. "Human insects," the alien said. Its voice was deep and full of hate. "I am Commander Zalthis of the mighty Zephyrian Empire. You have made a mistake coming here." Jake stepped forward. He kept his voice calm and steady. "This is Admiral Jake Harrison of the Terran Defense Fleet. You are attacking human civilians. Leave this system now, and we will let you live." The alien commander stared at Jake for a moment. Then it began to laugh. The sound was terrible, like metal scraping against metal. "You will let us live," Zalthis said. "You have 8 small ships. We have 62 ships of war. You are either very brave or very stupid." "Maybe both," Jake said with a small smile. The alien's laughter stopped. "I will give you one chance, human. Turn your ships around and leave. If you stay, we will destroy you. Then we will finish killing your people on the planet below." Jake looked at the alien commander for a long moment. Around him, his bridge crew waited. They were ready for whatever he decided. "Commander Zalthis," Jake said, "you have killed innocent humans. You have destroyed our colonies. You think we are weak because we are new to space travel. You are wrong about that. Very wrong." The alien's black eyes became even colder. "Then you choose death." "No," Jake said. "I choose to show you what happens when you attack humanity." Zalthis made a gesture with one of his 4 arms. The transmission ended. "All ships," Jake said into his communicator. "The enemy has refused our offer of mercy. Prepare for battle." On the planet below, Colony Administrator Mike Foster watched the sky through a small window in his underground shelter. Around him, 300 colonists waited in the dark. They had been hiding for 3 days. "Can you see anything?" asked Maria Santos, a teacher from the colony school. Mike pressed his face against the window. Far above, he could see tiny lights moving in space. The human fleet and the alien fleet were facing each other. 8 ships, Mike whispered. "Only 8 ships to save us all." A child began to cry somewhere in the shelter. Her mother held her close and whispered that everything would be okay. But Mike could see the fear in everyone's eyes. Back in space, the 2 fleets stared at each other. The Zephyrian ships began to move into attack formation. Their weapons were fully charged now. Red energy beams began to build up in their gun ports. "Enemy fleet is targeting us," reported Lisa Parker. "All 12 dreadnoughts have locked onto our ships." "Shields?" Jake asked. Chief Engineer Bobby Torres looked up from his station. "Quantum shields are ready, sir. All systems are green." Jake walked to his captain's chair and sat down. "Dr. Collins, remind me about Zephyrian battle tactics." Dr. Kate Collins stood near the back of the bridge. "They like to show their power, sir. They will probably fire a few warning shots first. They want to scare us into running away. And when we don't run, then they will try to destroy us with overwhelming force. They believe bigger weapons always win. Jake nodded. The Zephyrians. We're about to learn that size was not everything. Sir, said Captain Ryan Bell from the UHS Striker, the enemy is moving. All ships are advancing toward us. On the main screen, Jake could see the alien fleet coming toward them. The 12 dreadnoughts led the way like massive sharks swimming through space. The smaller ships followed behind them. Distance to enemy fleet? Jake asked. 2 million kilometers in closing. Lisa reported. Jake pressed the button on his chair again. His voice went out to all 8 human ships. All ships, this is Admiral Harrison. In a few minutes, we will show the galaxy what human engineering can do. We will show them what happens when they threaten our people. Today, the Zephyrian Empire learns that humanity is not prey. We are the hunters. The enemy fleet was getting closer. Soon the battle would begin. Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was ready. All across the human fleet, good men and women waited at their stations. They were outnumbered 8-1. The enemy had bigger ships and more weapons. None of that mattered. Today, the galaxy would see what humans could really do. Admiral Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the UHS Valiant. The big ship moved through space quietly. Around him, his crew worked at their stations. The bridge was dark, except for the soft blue glow from the computer screens. Jake looked out at the stars through the main window. His fleet of 8 ships moved together like a pack of wolves. They had been traveling for 3 days now. Soon they would reach the new Denver system. Soon they would face the enemy. Admiral, said Lieutenant Commander Lisa Parker. She walked up to him with a data pad in her hands. I have the latest reports from intelligence. Jake turned to look at her. Lisa was his best tactical officer. She had been with him for 5 years. He trusted her more than anyone else on the ship. What do we know about the Zephyrian fleet? Jake asked. Lisa touched the screen of her datapad. Numbers and pictures appeared on it. They have 12 big ships, sir. Dreadnoughts. Each one is 3 times bigger than our largest ship. They also have 50 smaller ships with them. Jake nodded slowly. The numbers were not good. 12 enemy dreadnoughts against his 8 ships. Most people would say it was impossible to win. But Jake knew something the enemy did not know. How long have they been attacking New Denver? He asked. 3 days, sir. The colonists are hiding in underground shelters. They keep sending messages asking for help. Jake walked to the center of the bridge. Captain Alex Murphy appeared on the main screen. Murphy was the captain of the UHS Razor, one of Jake's fastest ships. The Razor had been watching the enemy from far away. Report, Captain Murphy, Jake said. Murphy's face looked serious on the screen. Sir, it's bad. The Zephyrians are not just trying to take over the colony. They are killing everyone. Men, women, children. They want to wipe out all humans in that system. The bridge became very quiet. Jake's crew stopped their work to listen. Everyone knew what this meant. The Zephyrians thought humans were weak. They thought humans were easy to kill. Have they seen your ship? Jake asked. No, sir. We stayed far away. They have no idea we are coming. Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a hunter who had found his prey. Good work, Captain. Return to the fleet. The screen went dark. Jake turned to face his crew. He could see the worry in their eyes. They all knew the numbers. 8 human ships against 62 alien ships. It looked impossible. Chief Engineer Torres, Jake called out. Bobby Torres looked up from his station. Bobby was a short man with strong hands. He had worked on ships for 20 years. He knew every bolt and wire on the Valiant. Yes, sir? Are our new weapons ready? Bobby smiled. Yes, sir. All 8 ships have the new gravitational pulse systems. They have been tested, and they work perfectly. What about the shields? The quantum. Shielding is online on all ships, sir. The enemy has never seen anything like it. Jake nodded. This was what gave him hope. For 2 years, human scientists had been working in secret. They had created new weapons that could tear holes in space itself. They had made shields that could stop any attack. The other alien races in the galaxy thought humans were new and weak. They thought human technology was simple. They were very wrong. Dr. Kate Collins walked onto the bridge. She was the ship's expert on alien races. She had studied the Zephyrians for months. "Admiral," she said, "I have finished studying their battle tactics." "Tell me," Jake said. "The Zephyrians are very proud, sir. They think they are the strongest race in the galaxy. When they fight weaker enemies, they like to show off. They will probably try to scare us first, before they attack." "That could work in our favor," Lisa said. Dr. Collins nodded. "Yes, they will not use their full power right away. They will want to play with us first. That will give us time to surprise them." Jake walked back to the captain's chair and sat down. He pressed a button on his armrest. His voice went out to all 8 ships in the fleet. "This is Admiral Harrison, speaking to all ships. In 6 hours, we will reach the new Denver system. We will face an enemy that thinks we are weak. They have killed our people. They have destroyed our colonies. They think humans are nothing more than insects to be stepped on." He paused and looked around his bridge. His crew was listening carefully. "They are wrong. Today, we show them what humans really are. Today, we show them that when you attack our people, you face immediate destruction. All ships, prepare for battle." "Lieutenant." Sam Rodriguez looked up from his communication station. "Sir, I'm getting a message from New Denver. Put it through." A voice filled the bridge. It was weak and full of static. "This is Colony Administrator Mike Foster on New Denver. If anyone can hear this, we need help. The aliens are getting closer to our shelters. We don't have much time left." The message ended. The bridge was quiet again. Jake stood up from his chair. "Mr. Rodriguez, send a message back to New Denver." "Yes, sir. Tell them help is coming. Tell them to hold on for 6 more hours. Tell them the human fleet is here." Sam typed quickly on his keyboard. "Message sent, sir." Jake looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, human families were hiding in the dark. Children were scared. Parents were trying to be brave. The Zephyrians thought they could kill humans with no consequences. Today, they would learn how wrong they were. "All ships," Jake said into his communicator, "jump to hyperspace in 1 hour. Target, New Denver system. Mission, destroy all enemy. Forces, show no mercy." The Valiant and her 7 sister ships turned toward their destination. In 1 hour, they would face the enemy. In 1 hour, the galaxy would learn that humanity was not prey. They were predators.